Hello all. We are going today to go into the Wastes of Avernus, the first layer of hell, as part of our Descent into Avernus series from the Neverwinter MMO. And we're going to look at the lore of this game and how that plays out. This is an aspect of Neverwinter, or of the Descent into Avernus adventure, the hardback book upon which this is based on, that I did not expect we would see implemented. And as you can tell from the title screen, there are war machines. So that is pretty exciting. So we are going to go into our Avernus map here. And I'm going to use my cleric for this. When you start the Avernus quests, you come in through this portal that the Wizards of the Valnhas Estate use. If you've seen my previous post, you know that there's a world map, and part of that area you can go to through magical portals is to go into the first layer of the Nine Hells, called Avernus. And most of what we've done so far has been, really everything we've covered so far has been in this Valnhas Estate, and that's the first set of content that was released for Descent into Avernus by Neverwinter. You saw us fight this guy and do some other neat things around the state itself. But what we find is that there's new information about what's going on in the Nine Hells, and to follow up on that, we have to go into the Waste of Avernus. So that takes us to where we are here. We start with the Tiefling Wizard, or Wizard Sorcerer. Warlock. Warlock, that's what he is. Called Makos, and I've mentioned him in previous streams. And he takes us to this location on the border of the Waste. There's no real border, I guess. The Nine Hells is really very large and constantly shifting, even if it's not infinite. We're actually on the border of Fort Knucklebones, which is featured in the adventure. Now, I'm going to tell you when spoilers come up, because there is going to be a time when we're going to hit some spoilers. Up until now, there have been no real spoilers. I mean, anything that you could figure out from playing the content, you would have figured out without really reading the hardback book. You would just know it from the various announcements that have been done about the products. But later on, we're going to get into some real spoilers. There's going to be mild stuff in just that, when we go through the wastes, you're going to go to areas that you can visit when you're playing the actual tabletop adventure. So if you're a real purist, you could skip this stream entirely if you do not want to know anything about what might be coming up. This part is more like the adventure, so you're going to see a little bit of that. But I don't find that any of these spoilers are strong. Most of the NPCs, the non-player characters, are not ones that are kind of a surprise. But later, when we get to Dream Visions, that part is super spoilerific. I was surprised at how spoiler heavy it is. It's awesome. It's really well done. But it becomes sort of DM only, or for people who've already played it. When we start this out, I've already done this initial part, but one thing that's interesting, the map is blurred out. So you see, normally I can see this really well, and I guess it's to represent how in the Nine Hells maps don't work. So you can't super use it very well, though, sort of. When you start out, you have the two ravens. I'm now blanking on their names. We'll see them in a bit. They are here next to a war machine they're building, and they help us get our first war machine. I've already done that part, so there's just these wastes to traverse. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because we'll see more interesting things later. And we're going to go into the wastes themselves, so I can show you the first cool thing, which is War Machine. Yeah, that's right. I am in a vehicle. And you see there are a line of vehicles driving by. So there are a number of things that are kind of cool about what Neverwinter team has done, and one is that you get to actually drive these war machines, and it's fairly fun to do so. Now you may, if you don't know anything about Descent into Avernus and somehow missed everything that was provided up front when they first announced the product, this adventure brings in a sort of Mad Max element. It's maybe best captured in an Adventurers League, which is the branch of Dungeons & Dragons that does organized play. Adventurers League did an epic event where you get to drive these things and decorate them up with all kinds of cool, wrecking balls and spikes and things like that. That really did a super good job of bringing in this element of Mad Max. Here, we get a vehicle and we get to move around it, and it's pretty fun. But this and the adventure don't quite maybe truly bring a Mad Max piece, but this does a pretty good job of it. If you are going like out of your mind, like what, I'm driving a car, this really is in the hardback adventure, and it has a lot of potential to be cool. We get a couple of things. We get to change our radio station as our powers are replaced with this. We can get out of the vehicle and look at it, and we can go into absurd speed mode. So let's just kind of drive around. It's pretty fun to go through the waste or constantly kicking up sand. We can find mains, devils that are roaming the waste, and we can run over them. There are different, like, there's like a black dragon skeleton that they've used. I think that's a black dragon. At one point I know the skeletons quite well. There's some weird places in the waste. That's actually fairly big. I can't run over him, too bad. But we'll find someone to run over. There are some jumps. So first let's put on a radio station. Oh, here's names. We can run over them like that. There are also things like different jumps. Oh, here's your jump. So I'm going to hit shift to go ludicrously fast. Yeah, look at the hang time. So yeah, you can go around hitting your shift key, doing absurd jumps, running around, changing your radio station, until you come across the Wandering Emporium. You can also visit this in a stable base in case you want to hunt around to find it, but we can go there, and we can do the quests. This part is mildly spoilerish because this is sort of a thing that happens, but this is the quest hub for the series, and because everything's sort of lumped together here, I wouldn't say that it is a big spoiler that you're going to end up in a place like this. One thing that's fun is lots of foes are here, but it's kind of like a cantina bar in Star Wars kind of situation. They're all hanging out chatting, so you can see people you normally fight hanging around. Got all their war vehicles here. And there's a weird machine that gives you your mail. Somehow they have a big fish. And you see devils here all hanging out. Here are Chukka and Clunk, the two ravens that can give you quests. We have a certain Holophant who's here, Lulu. And we have Makos, who is the tiefling warlock that we talked about before. Various other characters, and then we have Mahadi himself.
The Emporium welcomes all.
It's pretty well done. You have I think that's a succubus and not an Arinese at the bar. Guy that sells maps, things like that. So it's pretty fun, and you get all your quests through these various characters. A lot of them are Lulu, a lot of them are Makos, and some are Chalk and Clonk. Some are Mahadi. Mahadis tend to be sort of nefarious, undermine this group, take down these devils, things like that. These people owe me. Different quests of that nature. So let's go back to the waste here, and I'll show you the map so we can go over a little bit what's going on. So this is the main waste area we were just driving around a moment ago. This was the starter area that we had. You don't really use it a whole lot here. You can do a few salvage quests to get salvage pieces of machines, of war machines. We can go to this southern area, and this area has a bunch of devils that have the docks with the river Styx. So there's the docks to Stygia, and you can have various quests, kill elite devils, and there is a memory fragment to find here. We'll talk about that in a second. You can have various heroic encounters. This area has another memory block. I think actually is the first one, so maybe we'll go there first. And then and this area is sort of an area where people, it's like a purgatory. People are hung in this area and made to suffer. In this southern area, this is a really neat area of the adventure itself, which looks like huge boils. And that's very well implemented. It's very beautiful. And then we'll get to what this interesting part here is at the end. And there is additionally two different quests that take us towards that. So let's take a drive around. We'll go to this first area, and then I'll alert you when we get to the heavy spoiler part. We'll do one more sort of fun jump here. Boom. All right, places. All right, so we can park our car here and go in. This is the gray Knuckle Outpost, and we have a bunch of scavengers who are around. They can fight you. There is a heroic encounter to take down a war machine. This one can be fairly hard if you're just all alone. And every time I show up, there are only a few minutes left. Like, yeah, there's 5 minutes. You've got to kind of really pound on it to take it down. But we can see here, this place is really neat. It's got these sort of hellish trees, and they are all from them hang devils, and there are, you know, really neat different types, or sorry, hang people, souls, and then you can find like interrogators and take them down. There's also a treasure map system here. I don't think I have one. No, I don't currently have one in my inventory. When you kill foes, you can come up with treasure maps, and then you can follow them to different locations and find kind of special boons, equipment, neat things like that. Not a bad idea to use in your game, in your tabletop D&D game. Although you can't really map these wastes, so it would have to be more of a, you know, based on some clues of where to look at a particular point in time, something like that. Off in the distance, you can see the sort of ghost figure. We'll see another one like that. It's a soul. Here we go. A soul tied up. You've seen some of the devils here that I'm facing. I'll just fight a group here for fun. Ducks, so you can see kind of what they look like. These bloodsworn fighters, Legion Devil, and a Cambion. They just, you know, shot various projectiles at me. The Cambion does sort of hellfire attacks that set me on fire. It'll hurt a lot if I don't dodge. This is generally pretty tough content. It's risen up from previous areas in the game, so you've got to be pretty well geared to survive or be chomping down on potions constantly. There's a lost cleric here. If I have the appropriate quest, I can help them. Similarly, if I have a quest related to this soul that's impaled there, I can free them. But I have neither quest, so I can't do anything. One of those bizarre things about video games. Sometimes there's quests to collect tar from the pits, things like that. So I'll kind of just fly around here a bit so you can see some of the terrain. I always like it as a DM to, you know, have an idea in my mind of what it looks like. So maybe this helps you describe your games in Avernus, or even if you're not playing just in Avernus, but you want to do something like just go to the hells and you know, briefly, then this can be useful. All right, so here's our first memory fragment, and this is where we're going to begin with. Actually, let me go around. I'll come back to it, but we're going to begin with the spoilers in a few seconds. I've mentioned before that you can get these little neat scrying crystal zones. There's some hidden in various places. Here's one. This gives you a neat view of the walls to this area. Howerman's Hill is where we are. Climbing up to. Yeah, there are spoilers. Thanks for coming by, Dread Pirate Roberts. And thank you for the good beats that you always play on your stream. So yeah, let's do a quick kind of run around. I might aggro some people here, but I'm going to run away from them. There's a kind of neat quest that has you burn some ashes here and things like that. Yeah, so let's get into the spoilery bits. The spoilery bits. Oh, here's a fun one. This is a neat heroic encounter where this wizard is trying to free these souls, and so you can help the soul coins. Let's do it just as a fun thing.
Demons laid waste to the devils.
So one thing that this part does well is it captures the Blood War, and the Blood War is where the demons and devils fight together. And so this wizard from Bel has found that a group of demons attack devils who are transporting soul coins. So he's going to try to use simple magic, which will open this up, and then we'll focus on them, and we have to free the souls. So we say, okay, let's begin, and now these little souls will appear and we can free them, but what's going to happen is devils are going to come in to try to stop us. And we only get to free a couple before devils show up. Maybe some other people will come and help me, though it is possible to solo this at my level of strength. It's easier if I can bring in more of these guys. Group them together, but that's hard. dodge that fire. So I tend to use a build that revolves around about this lance that I throw, and to do that I need to get a number of them in my sights, which is hard. I'm not doing very well. I'm killed. Spine Devils, Cambions, lots of bad guys here. Looks like I'm starting to make some progress here. Let's get some more soul coins that I'm freeing. I've got 2 out of 8 that I need. And here come the devils. Spine Devils are kind of cool. It's hard to always see, but they'll back up from you and they will hurl their spines at you just like they're supposed to. There you see that little cone, that's the spines that get thrown out. So hopefully you caught that. And it's kind of neat to actually embed in the ground, which I think is a really nice graphic display of that. The ground is momentarily covered in their spines. Alright, got a bunch of these guys down. Let's try to free some more souls. Ooh, that went quickly. Yeah, they stopped me. Critical hits. So in Neverwinter, you have a roughly 50% chance of doing a critical hit when you're geared up. I'm a little bit below that for this zone, when you do, the numbers come out in orange, so you can see when I get the critical hits, they show up in the orange color. A little bit of lag going on. At least that's my excuse. Alright, so here we are. We're almost done with these devils. We have one group left to defeat. And now I can free the souls with 2 minutes left to go. And if you see me glowing angelically, I just triggered a feature that I have where I get to like cast without using up sort of my points that cause refreshing of powers. So it really would have been awesome to have had that come up earlier, but it happened right at the end of this, so it goes. You see there in the background the wizard, Valen has wizards focusing all of their energy very intently on freeing these souls. And now one more soul and we'll be done. So this is one of the heroic encounters. It's probably the easiest of the bunch to complete. The devils aren't too bad. The timing mechanic's decent for the amount of time left. If I had tried to spend 5 minutes destroying the war machine, I would have done far worse. You get various things that are used in the adventure itself. So that gives you a feel for what's going on in this little area here. And now we are going to do one of the memory fragments. If you want to see more of the different zones, come back in about 5 minutes when things aren't blue and hazy. Alright, so here begin the spoilers. We're going to go to this memory fragment, which is a fragment from Lulu, the Holophant, who used to be a companion and friend to Zariel. Zariel is the devil lord who leads Avernus currently, and we get to see her backstory, which is that she came here when she wanted to destroy and stop the demons that were invading her land, and so she wanted to stand against them. So she's here with a group called the Hell Riders from the city of Elturel near Baldur's Gate, not far from that. She's at this point an angel. She's fighting for Mount Celestia. And she's come in here as part of the Blood War, and so these demons that are, there's a Balor there and various other hounds and things like that. And I can help her out here so that can be a part of this memory. Because they're memory figments, they're not particularly hard to fight. So it's very easy here. Parlagura, memory. It's kind of cool. I like the way they implemented the memories. The memories are part of what's in the adventure itself. And, you know, it looks cool. The Hell Riders and Zariel fighting here. I like that this is both kind of quick quests you can do, provides you with important currency for advancing, all that sort of mechanical bit, but it gives you a nice piece of the story, right? It gives you that feeling of how of what has happened here. It gives you that greater sense of the story. Now that we're done with the memory crystal, we can exit out of here. So that was our first memory fragment. We're going to go now to the second one, which will also let us see a second glimpse of it. So as you kind of caught on from that, run away from these guys, Zariel was before being a Devil Lord, was an angel. She was in Celestia. And so that is certainly something that's shared with the players fairly early on, but it's reinforced through this set of quests. And so we're going to see more of how that all played out. So we're back in the Wastes. No spoilers for a bit. We're going to hit our shift key and go ludicrously fast, ram into all kinds of things. Oh, I'm caught in traffic. Ludicrously fast. More ludicrous speed. Oh, I rammed into the town. Alright, now we're going to go to the Stygeon Docks. This is the area to the south here. Looks like there's currently, well, it's about ending, a big heroic encounter. We're going to go to our second memory fragment here. This area of the docks has prisoners, it has cargo and what are called fuel cells. It has one of those ships off in the distance that are like you saw in the previous video where Zariel has sort of a flying fortress. I think that's supposed to be a different one, but that's located there. There are all these kinds of weird fuel cells. I mean, I guess they're devils. They're supposed to have some sort of advanced technology. You can see, you know, Pit Fiend there as part of that big heroic encounter. This area can be pretty hard. Really, all of this area is difficult. There are some neat bosses that spawn around. You usually find people camping out for them. I was just checking to see if they're there, but no, they're not. Also, it'd be great if I landed a treasure map, but that's not happening. Well, it's hard to tell. They just kind of pop into your inventory. Oh, actually, no, there it is. So I got a treasure map. So that shows you what it's like when I open this up. Actually, neat. This is kind of nearby. So I can try to find where this is located. Looks like it's on the top level. And we can go to find it. Let's do the memory fragment first. I like that there are these kind of couriers that are flying around. I'll help this person out with this battle. That go around. They seem to be good sources of maps. At least I find a lot of maps drop from those. So here you see the docks. Let me show you a little more about them before we do the memory fragment. So you can go onto the edge, and it looks a lot like the city I live in, where you have a lot of ports and people are loading things up on sort of these cranes. It's very sort of mechanical looking. These huge chains and gears holding onto that ship that I guess is being loaded up. You can fly around the wastes. Pretty cool. They also have another neat thing, which I'll show you really quickly, which is this device for transportation. It's like an elevator. So I'm going to skirt around these demons, and I'm going to jump down. And clearly, fell magic was used in this. Oh, and I'm going to try to... Let's see if I can get out of it. Yeah, so you can fly away. You can run away from combat bravely, because I don't want to get into that. Down below, there are some what are called elite devils. They're harder to kill, so I don't want to take the time to fight them. Let's go to the memory fragment. This gives us the second part and more spoilers about what happened to Lulu and what happened to Zariel. So we are here again in Memory Land. You can come over here, and for first, you watch this.
Help will moment.
One of the things is that Zariel thought that if she led this attack, those in Celestia would follow her lead and would attack. But they don't. They see things on a grander scale than she does, and when, they don't just commit all their troops to a battle the way that she wanted to in her zeal. So she ends up having to run away. Her battle is not going as she wishes. There are bodies of Hell Riders on the ground. Oop, I just got lassoed by that Valor memory. Oh, stop it. There you go. That's what you get. So we're fighting demons again because this is her reason to come here was to take the battle to the demons and to stop the blood war. And she, it's in this top layer of hell is where all the demons come to fight their blood war. Infinite number of unruly, chaotic demons take on the smaller number, but still tons. Disciplined devils, right? So they always end up at a stalemate because the chaotic turn against each other. Infinite numbers are equally good to the fewer but disciplined, super intelligent, carefully following their leaders, the devils. So demons, devils cancel each other out. Chaos, law, two kinds of evil. And so Zariel thought, if I come here and I kind of take the battle to them, Celestia will have to follow, we'll end this once and for all. That did not happen, much to her dismay, and we just saw her getting routed. Alright, so we'll stop we'll go get our treasure map, so no more spoilers for a couple minutes until we get to the next memory crystal. It is somewhere around here. Somewhere around here. If I get too close to those, they're going to attack me. These are a bit of a pain to find. There are online guides which can be very helpful for figuring out where these are. They do twinkle a little bit, but as you can see, there's more than one kind of little rock clump where they can be. Ah, there it is. You see a little twinkling. That's where my treasure map leads me to. So yeah, there's a person north side who does the fight the devil, who does a number of really good guides about this game, and one of them is where he shares all of the treasure maps. Now it closed up and I'm going to open it again. A number of problems with how to interact with objects periodically. This is one of them. There we go. Find the right angle for this. And now we get my hidden rewards that were secreted here. It's not a whole lot this time. Sometimes it can be really neat gear and things like that, but not so this time. I don't know what that weird graphic is there, but that's a bug. Okay. Interesting. I haven't seen this before. So let's go out into the wastes, and we'll go to our last zone. This is a really very cool zone. Maximum speed. Oh, I'm crashing. Can we resist running over the mirrors? No. Oop. Remains, sorry. Yeah, that's how it is. And we are going to the Scab. Oh. There we go. So this is a location, again, this is another of these locations I did not expect to see come our way. You start with a sort of little outpost that has these scavenger people, and this is a good place if you have a quest to get scavenged. You can blow up other war machines and have kind of interesting fights like that, find salvage goods. We are going to head out and take a look at this. So as you see off in the hazy distance, and it's hazy deliberately, you can see that there's this weird sort of beautiful place off in the distance, surrounded by like these red boils. And that's gonna get really cool. The land is like living. There's a heroic encounter going on here. Not gonna do this one, but it looks neat. Some sort of event going on here. It's not telling me what it is. Clear the area of devils. That's not a whole lot. Yeah, that person's doing it. Let's try it. I've not done this before. Join a random player. Lots of Spine Devils. Legion Devils. By the way, I'm a big fan of miniatures. Some of you know that already, but I really dig miniatures, and the miniatures that came out for this Descent into Avernus series are amazing. Really, really, really good. Alright, I killed them. I'm not doing very well, but I'm able to heal myself. Die. Yeah, I'm taking a lot of damage, so, you know, we're gonna die. Alright, that was harder than 2 people can do it. Good to know. We'll do this another day. Alright, so let's go on, I think you're gonna have to rezone the person. Yeah. Alright, so let's take a look at the Scab. Look at this place, right? Boils and pus and horribleness. Yeah, this place is pretty nuts. Really, really dark and disgusting looking place. And let's do our next memory. So here we go with some spoilers. Alright, so in this memory, we get a really big piece of what happens here. First we gotta fight some devils, that's fine. In case you're wondering how this game works, and you're not familiar with Neverwinter, Neverwinter tends to give you different mobs at different levels of foes, at different levels of difficulty. So these, much easier than ones that are that are like what we faced a second ago in that multiplayer heroic encounter. The heroic encounter is supposed to be with lots of people working together, so that is much harder content, and each of those devils has much more health and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, I should say that the area of the Scab is an area where demons are intruding constantly, so we have a lot of demons to fight. Now in this case, they are devils that we're facing off against. The Scab is a demon-heavy area. So one of the things is the Scab represents the areas of Blood War where you have demons sort of taking over at places, and then the devils have to respond to that. So you have incursions of devils periodically try to raid the demons. Now we get this story piece that's kind of interesting.
Yael! I failed the Hellriders and the city I was sworn to protect.
So she's failed
We cannot
Elturel.
let these fiends take my blade. It must remain a force for good. Now go!
I won't let you down, Zariel.
So this is a huge spoiler. You know, again, you don't want to watch this if you're playing, nor the next part. But the sword is taken away. This is the most important part that Lulu could not remember, and now we're able to remember through these memories. And this is a big part, very important part as well. So that's Asmodeus. He rules all of the hells, all of the 9 hells.
Formalities aside, your desire to stop my legions appears misguided. The existence of hell, the tireless, abyssal wars, bringing order where there is only chaos.
So he appeals to Zariel.
Someone of your caliber deserves much more than what you will ever find upon my
I need someone who will fight demons, who will stop chaos. We represent order. That's better than chaos.
I will take my own life before I join the Lord of the 9 Hells.
Well said.
At your side until the end, my lady.
I accept this proposal and shall be reborn as ruler of Avernus.
Yeah. Zariel accepts this. She now has a wreath of fire around her head. There's this huge hammer.
Bells and confidence. Join me. Simply say the word.
So now, Celestia would not let her kind of take on these demons endlessly, or the devils. So she joins the devils, and now she's in charge of the top layer to lead the fight against all of the demons.
Olympius, you served me well in life.
She raises her servant Olympius, the Hellrider.
In death.
Now dead.
Once again, I say
So we see the fall of Zariel in this memory,
wisdom knows no.
and we understand Asmodeus' role in this. Kind of cool. So that's pretty big. That was, you know, a big memory that we get from this, and it leads us to our last part of it. This last part is also really heavy on spoilers, but it's also very cool. And so normally when we play this the first time, I'm repeating these quests, which become sort of weekly quests. Normally when we do this, we go back, we talk to Lulu, we talk to Makos, and then we take on the next part. Slow it on. See more of this cool terrain. So now I'll just take you a little bit past this cavern over there. We're going to come back to that, but you can see this area up there. Here's a captured angel. We cannot get there. So if we try, we can't get there. But what we do is we go through a kind of quest to find information on this area. The initial quest is really quite cool, to go into what are called the Scab Tunnels. Again, tons of spoilers. This is done really well. It gets the sort of dream aspect, which is kind of interesting because it's not really a dream, but they give it the dream look. When you come here, you find a journal, which I've already found, but it's in my quest information, and the series of journal entries are about this expedition that takes place, and it's really cool because it tells you a little bit about how they come in, like, yeah, we've got this awesome crew, we're gonna take this down, and oh, this is so horrible, and the smell, and it's neat because the writing gives you sort of aspects you're not able to get. Like, you know, the game can't give a smell, but this does, and that's a nice trick for tabletop to, you know, give an account of things that have happened, so that you can bring in other senses into it. There are these kind of horrid, I don't know what you want to call them, doors, sure, that you break through. When you do so, it causes, you know, demons to be ready to spawn. So they're not too bad. I will say that this is you know, of the quests. Design criticism here. You know, nothing's perfect, whatever. But this part is for weekly quests. If you saw the other ones where we do those visions, they're both easy and quick, which I love. It's really kind of cool to get quick story beats. This is long. It's not quick, and it's a little bit hard. The end part you're going to see is quite hard. I may die doing it. I like how things crawl out of the muck. I think that's really super well done. These names, you know, crawling out of the muck, the smaller ones. Really good stuff. I'm going to equip, so there's a summer event currently, and it lets you lob water balloons, which is very fun, but not particularly useful for survival. So I'm going to equip my Stone of Life so I can be a little more capable, not die as easily. We make it through another of these horrible doors. We're going to be set upon by abyssal chickens, a whole horde of them, flock of them, I guess. As you can see, I'll leave one here so you can kind of see the abyssal chicken. One thing that's fun is you can actually get an abyssal chicken companion, so maybe I'll equip mine so we can have some fun. Oh, and there are also some chests you can get with loot and things like that. That does make this weekly quest a little bit better for running, despite the time. In theory, we could roam through all these side passages and get more of those chests, but I have a limit to how much I want to do that. Oh yeah, I was gonna... Oh, there's a bad guy. First we'll fight this bad guy. Rotting main demon. Oh, terrible stuff. Usually they explode. Now let's equip. I'm gonna get rid of my nice... I love my little gelatinous cube companion, which I got through doing extra life. And I'm gonna equip my abyssal chicken. You can see what it looks like. It's quite terrible. Oh, the other fun thing is companions, when you get them in Neverwinter, they come along with you and do things. They come in different kind of age quantities, and you can, as you grow them up, they go through it. It might be like, you know, a youngling, a mature one, whatever. Well, they start in baked, go to fried, fricasseed, and stewed. And so you can see they're all just kind of different. I don't know if it's sizes or, yeah, colors. Oops. But we'll go to the newest version. So there we go. We'll fight with my my abyssal chicken. The abyssal chicken has a block power that makes it really strong. It does a whole bunch of damage to everything that's around it with all these different... Somehow it summons a whole bunch of other abyssal chickens. And they show up and they do a ton of damage. We'll see that eventually. I heard a noise like something was coming from me. Another chest. Let's see what this one has. Oh yeah, it's a mimic. It's okay, mimics give rewards with this one. One of the designers, Thomas Foss, he for Neverwinter, he goes by the title Mimic King. So there's an event where a piece of content where you can fight the Mimic King, which is kind of fun. And you get a title based on that. I've done that. All right, we're getting towards the end. This is another example of how this quest is like spectacularly hard compared to the other ones. Really kind of shockingly so. Far, far harder than the other ones. Face this major demon that really takes it to you. On top of all those other little mini fights we had, it's already way longer than first Visions. And yeah, this can be quite hard. This fight alone, I think, if you're not pretty geared up, is going to be difficult. Got another little chest we can see what we get out of. Okay, nothing too big. But now we've got the back door into the Citadel, Zariel's Citadel, where she launched her attack a long time ago. I don't know how you exactly build a citadel in the middle of this place, but it's clearly being taken over by the forces of evil. I love this. So this is just so beautiful. Hats off to the Neverwinter designers. I mean, this looks amazing, right? Like, you have these, you know, tattered banners, these soldiers that are statues that are getting overrun by this, you know, horrid goo, just horrid stuff that's just taking over what is once this celestial palace, this bastion against the demons and devils. The demons have now infested it as part of their attack for the Blood War. So we'll fight some more waves on our way to the center. Something that I don't quite understand is why there are still demons filling this place if Zariel is here, but I'm not going to question that too strongly. So that's block. We're going to go this way. Hezru are really cool, but they are rough. They create all these sort of exploding red zones that you see there. Fields around themselves. Oh, there's my abyssal chicken just tearing it up. I don't know if you saw that little swooping chicken. That's my dog. He loves the abyssal chicken. How are you doing, Chewie?
To pass through the barrier, these halls must first be cleared of fiends.
So we're almost done. We're gonna take these demons and we'll have the final really what is the end of the story. And so I'm going to take this opportunity while I'm fighting here to say something that I like and something I don't like about the approach that was taken here for the story. So the thing I really, really dig is that in many of the adventures, or campaigns, if you will, for example, Icewind Dale. If you saw my Icewind Dale series of videos, to take the final fight and defeat the big bad foe, we have to do a dungeon. So it's sort of harder content. The same is true with Curse of Strahd, for example. If I want the finale of the Curse of Strahd campaign, I must do this Curse of Strahd dungeon, which is actually really hard. So I have lots of friends who've never done the Curse of Strahd because it's just too hard. Sometimes it has, it's hard, plus sometimes it's very specific on how its mechanics work. That really means that a bunch of people can't enjoy the content that ends the storyline because it's only for top players. I'm not a big fan of that, right? So what I like is that the real story this time, in this particular case, is given to us here. We're going to see the end story after we do this fight. That's really cool. I'm a big fan of that. I'm not a fan of the fact that the story happens to be the same story as what's in the book. I mean, it's not exactly, but it's good enough, right? I would not want to play this just independent of everything else, and then be like, hey, my friend who is running a game, yeah, I want to play Descent into Avernus. I've never played that D&D campaign. Like, if you go to play the tabletop, after you've done this, you're going to be like, oh, I actually know a lot of this stuff. I mean, this is full of spoilers, as we've said. So that part I don't love. I love that we get this cool story. Awesome. I don't love that it's the same story. And whether it's Icewind Dale, whether it's the Storm King's Thunder, whether it's Chult, we've often had just enough of an adjacent storyline that we didn't get the spoilers, or did not get significant spoilers, or we could avoid them. Like, we don't have to do the last dungeon with Tomb of the Nine Gods, and we might then not, have it all spoiled for us. So that's kind of my big, what I like and what I don't like. Love this story. This is epic. I mean, this whole area is just gorgeous, right? Amazing. And we get into the inner chamber. The boiling, horrible stuff is gone. And this place just really looks like something that should be in Celestia.
Showing you a memory.
Now we're going to go to our big fight. This is a tough fight. It truly is. There are some kind of interesting mechanics taking place. I'm just going to jump into it and try to talk through it. And we'll see how it goes. So we're going to start with, we have to fight Baphomet. I don't exactly grasp that, but it's fine. So we fight Baphomet. Defeated Baphomet. Well, actually, they changed it. Oh, they really did change it. Looks like. Maybe not. No. I have to talk to Lulu. Okay. So we fought Baphomet. We're going to now face... So here's the sword, right? And if it didn't follow here, and again, this is super spoilerish, her sword is still super holy. It has a strong link to her. If we can get this sword, we can undo a lot of the terrible things that have been going on in this land. Lulu is here, and we can talk to Lulu.
No time to waste. You've done so well. You made it through those wretched tunnels, purged the hold of demons, and proven yourself worthy of Zariel's sword. It's time. Are you ready? You know what you need to do. Take Zariel's weapon.
Sure, what could go wrong? Let's take a sword. Oh, wait. Pretty sweet looking. Yeah, she comes with her 2 lieutenants. Probably could have expected that. Like any good boss, she's going to get out of the fight and let us take on the lieutenants. So that's good times. Good times, yeah. You know me, I'm going to try to line these 2 up, get them at the same time, and then we're going to die. They are not too hard to defeat. This part is great. Again, remember, this is like one of those visions, right? Like those vision quests, this is like one of them. It's insane. It's so much harder than the other visions, but do what we must. So, I always like how rider and horse separate. It's really well done. It's something that can happen tabletop. The miniatures do it, and it shows up here as well. Alright, so now Zariel's here. And she does a thing to try to, like, kill Lulu or something. Oh. So she is going to do a power, I think now. Well, I don't know. At some point I'm supposed to get a power from Lulu, which I'm not currently getting. So this can be a little buggy. Lulu has to live. She has to give me power. So that I can defeat Zariel when she does this really terrible thing. Canyon's dead. There. Lulu's still there. Okay, temporary power. Oh, there it is. Good. So I use a temporary power and I remind Zariel of Lulu and using the sword, and that gives me a moment's respite. It's very important. I think I have to be here to kind of cushion the blow here, I think. We would share the health. So yeah, it's pretty rough. Like that took half my health right there. And she's back. We're doing more terrible stuff. Alright, stop it again. Power. They did.
Remember how we fought evil together? We can do it again!
Zariel, okay, Lulu is shouting instructions at me, I think. And she's trying to kill Lulu, so I have to like be there to share the pain, and that'll keep her alive. Ow. I had this bug on me once, but I think they've tried to fix it. So again, I can cancel that power with the special thing that I've got.
Remember how we fought evil together? We can do it again!
Alright, stay by Lulu's side, try to help. Almost there. Hey, right when I got angled. And this is a pretty cool cutscene. I love the animation of it.
Zariel?
The Archdevil of Avernus will not be so easily defeated.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna die. She's got an anime hammer. It's all over. Or is it? Oh. Nothing can stop the power of love.
Zariel?
Really cool graphics. I totally dig the view of it. Did I say already? Her mini is amazing. And WizKids makes the minis. They have an amazing Zariel miniature that's part of the Avernus set. Cool moment coming.
Please.
I like the realization. If you want to save Lulu, yeah, so as I said, spoilerific. It doesn't get much more spoilery than that. But I wanted to share it because it is really well done. It's just very spoilery. And again, I love that they actually give you the story end for all players. Beautiful graphics, really neat. Don't love that it's the same exact story or close enough. So we speak with her.
Lulu's faith in you says much about your character. And your
I will have
brave
much work to do. Clearly, there's going to be some expansion to this that takes place here. Hopefully, will be
myself, I have much work ahead of me.
content that is
Let us begin restoring
new
the Citadel,
and not
so it may stand as a beacon of good. in the
repetitive. I
land of
think it
Avernus.
sounds like it has to be new. So I just did all those quests there, all the weekly quests. Big chunk of change that I get for those. This is basically the Avernus storyline. So you have seen the Descent into Avernus campaign, which we did. I didn't show you everywhere there, but I walked you through the whole map, so you got to see it. The Path of the Fallen is what I just showed you. So we have the war machines, we have these different moments of memories, and then going in there. After that, it's just doing this every week to get a little more power in the game, but that's optional in terms of seeing the story. This is the story as it stands now, though it's pretty clear from what they showed that there will be additional content. Zariel has work for us to do. What that work is, we're going to find out. There are a few quests that you get after you meet her. But yeah, that's really, in a nutshell, the campaign. You have now seen all the Avernus content in this walkthrough. I hope that you have enjoyed that stream. And for DMs, I hope that's very useful to get to see what it's like to visualize, bring into visual recreation of that neat art and concepts that are in the actual book. I think overall this has been a very successful campaign. Neverwinter has had some shaky times. I think they really pulled together as they did with Undermountain, which was the previous campaign. Really strong story, good quests, beautiful areas to adventure in. A lot of fun. If they just didn't spoil it, it would be really good. Very close to top marks for this. So I think that's probably all the Avernus content we'll do. And next time I'll go into lore of Undermountain in the previous. So we'll see how they implement the Undermountain area, which is also really well done. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for attending the stream. Take care.